Hi everyone, Helen Blunden here at Activate Learn on Twitter. Hope you're well. It is time for another book review. I'm trying to get through them all because I've been madly reading, simply because I went to the library recently, brought a whole heap of books back, and I was quite surprised by how quickly I read them, simply because they were great stories. And this one, The Speechwriter, is one that I'd like to talk about today. It is a fictional debut by Martin McKenzie-Murray, and it is about Toby, who is a speechwriter, and we find Toby in jail at the beginning of the book and is in a cell with one of these hardened criminals called Gary. Now, Toby is recounting his story of being a speechwriter in Canberra, and he's writing his memoir. So we don't really know why he's in jail, but we kind of get the reason that he's going to slowly unfold why he's in there. And what I loved about this book was there are all these footnotes. You can see these footnotes here, where Gary, the hardened criminal, would add his 2 bits worth, his feedback, his suggestions, and a lot of them were actually quite funny and vulgar, because there's a lot of swearing in this book, but very amusing. And so I was laughing throughout this whole book because I found it hilarious and a bit weird in parts, because as I was reading it, I'm thinking, where is this going? I think the characters, the fact that he's working with public servants in Canberra in the Prime Minister's office, and you think this is absurd. You know, you can't find people like that, but maybe you can. It's the public service. We're talking about the public service. I used to be in the public service, and it was really interesting, let me tell you that. So it is quite an amusing book, but I have to kind of warn you, it is very Australian. And by that, I mean the idioms, the slang, kind of like the characters. Any Australian who would read this book would instantly understand what I'm talking about, because if they've watched shows like Utopia, all those other the satirical shows, would instantly get a feel of the characters and the story in here. So I am left to wonder, if you don't have, I guess, English as a first language, if you read this book would probably go over your head. But to any Australian, it is quite an amusing read. But I have to warn you, there is a lot of swear words, By the end of it, I was reading and I'm thinking, such a bizarre book, but a funny book. I'm glad I read this though, because it makes me think, is it really like this in Canberra? Well, if you know our politicians, it's not surprising. Anyway, that is it, The Speechwriter by Martin McKenzie-Murray. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching.